It balanced. This yellow line splits the Earth. Ecuador.
Our friends, the Ecuadorians, have put up a monument to one of their cherished possessions, the Equator.
A country that means the equator in Spanish.
Ecuador is, however, the only country whose name means equator. Off to Quito.
This country splits the Earth exactly, north and south. Its latitude 0.
Right in the 000 latitude. We are in Ecuador.
This is the equator that crosses 14 countries and 4 oceans.
Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, Gabon, Congo, Republic Democratic of Congo, Uganda, Kenya, Somalia, Indonesia. Yes, all of those places they have the equator, but you know why we became so important? Because we are the highest point.
I'm David from Ecuador. We are now in Quito, Ecuador, South America, the middle of the world.
And then Quito.
The equator is a virtual line. It splits the Earth into 2 equal parts, Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere. Night and day here are equal, 12 hours each. The farther you are from the equator, the more weather changes for you, whether you go north or south of it. The Earth is split with virtual lines that are called latitudes and longitudes, by which time and place can be tracked. Also time difference and weather. The yellow line splits the Earth in 2. The sun is very close here, and is the second highest capital in the world after La Paz in Bolivia.
Ecuador!
But Ecuador is the highest.
There's always difficulty breathing here. Every step feels harder than the regular steps in our lives. Every step is like climbing a mountain.
Rivers, mountains, cataracts, tablelands, jungles, and old cities.
Este avión procesado por filtros EVA, board flight number 1441 with destination Quito.
We're in a faraway area in South America. We've arrived at the equator, guys. Ecuador's capital. It's a wonderful country in South America. We don't know much about it.
Long, long before Columbus set sail.
Entonces, bienvenidos a este viaje. Esto es Ecuador.
This is the yellow line. It splits planet Earth. The more you go south, the more weather changes. The more you go north, the more the weather changes. But guys, the equator is a virtual line. It was created for flying, navigation, and weather forecast.
En el norte está Canadá y en el sur Argentina.
North to Canada, south to Argentina.
The word Quito, like the name of my city, means the center of everything or the place where the sun is completely straight up. It's a native language.
Okay, now what she's about to do is, she said this water. However, when we go north of the line, you'll find that the leaves start turning and swirl when going down in a specific direction.
Clockwise, all right?
And south of the line, it will turn the opposite way.
Much better.
So, if you're in a country south or north of the equator, the leaf will be swirling when flushed.
So now let's see how the water goes straight down.
But at the equator, it will be flushed straight. And that's called the Coriolis force.
Up here, look at it, guys. It's not a whirlpool. It was not a swirl, right? It was going just straight. Okay, I was telling you about the Coriolis, that here we don't have influence of that force, and you're going to be looking that here the water goes straight down.
Do you see this Coriolis force? It's not existent in the equator. That's why everything goes down straight. Tornadoes, for example, swirl in a specific direction north of the equator. In the south, it turns the opposite way. The same applies for water swirling. It runs on opposite sides in the north and the south. But countries on the equator don't experience tornadoes because of the absence of the Coriolis force.
Yay, this is a line.
Which is a physics phenomenon.
Eggmaster. I am an expert. And of course, we have less gravity and the force, and that's why it's much easier over here. Oh, you did it! Oh my gosh! Yes! Woohoo! Eggmaster!
2 days a year in March and September, your shadow completely disappears.
When the sun was completely straight up to this pole, and the shadow disappeared completely from this place. There's no shadow. March 21st and September 23rd is what we call the equinox.
Because the sun is directly above you. The center of the world, Ecuador.
In this place, people noted that depends on the movements of the sun, they have the dry season or the wet season. This is a representation of a sundial.
Breathing difficulties because you're on highlands, and the sun, the Earth statue, is right behind us. It's the center of the world. 12 hours in the day, 12 hours in the night. 6 a.m. sunrise, 6 p.m. sunset. 12 each.
The sun rises up from these mountains around 6 o'clock. At noon, the sun is going to be completely in the middle of at 6 p.m., the sun will set down on that side, on that direction. Doesn't matter if it's winter or summer, we always have 12 hours of light around this area.
Sunrise here, sunsets here.
The center of planet Earth. Aside from that, Ecuador's currency is US dollar. They don't have a currency, they let it go in 2000 because they suffered major inflation. They only have coins. These coins equal $1. It's official, you go to an ATM, you withdraw in US dollar. The temperature's really high and batteries run out fast.
And as you can see, we are in a beautiful location in the middle of the Andes, here in South America, very close to Quito. Quito's in that direction.
Now, this is the center of the planet, but they made it before the Inca 800 years ago. It's very old, before the Inca civilization. This is the center of the planet. Here, your GPS will read 0.
Okay, Ecuador, in English, Equator, the middle of the world. But this word comes from the colonial time, when this area was occupied by the Spaniards as a colony. In that time, there was a French expedition, a group of scientists that came to this area to mark the Ecuador line right over there. That's why we have a museum in that place. We have a big monument in that place. Before the Spaniards, we had Incas living in this territory. And we also had the Quitus people living in this territory. And the Quitus, they mark right in this place, they mark the Ecuador line. And now, amazingly, if we go with the GPS, we're gonna find that this place is right in the middle of the world, right in the 000 latitude.
So now we're in a place called Plaza. It's in the middle.
0, 0, 0. Yes, we are in Ecuador.
Every town in South America has its marketplace, but for color and vigor, few can equal the Saturday fair at Otavalo. There are thousands of people down there.
We are in Otavalo.
Then we went out of Quito to a volcanic area and the largest market in South America.
Okay guys, we are now in a very nice indigenous market. Actually, this one is considered the largest market here in South America. In this place, we're gonna find that most of the population here, most of the people here, they are native. Remember, these people had a mixture with the Incas.
We drove about 2 hours from Quito to go to a market which is considered the largest in South America. All of them are natives. All of the village closes, half of it, and come to sell here. It's all colors. Look, this really feels like South America.
Peru and Bolivia, our cultures are very similar. It's a very musical culture.
What's the altitude? 3,100 meters. Okay guys, do you see this crater? Imagine this is a volcano crater. Years ago, now it became a lake. Most tourists don't come here. This area is wonderful. This country, most Arab countries don't need a visa for it. It's like Switzerland. Check out those cows walking around you. And it's so green. This is only 2 hours from the capital, Quito.